Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast. Season 8, episode 1.
Ooh.
'Tis the premiere. So I loved it. I loved this episode.
I did too. I'm excited about the summer.
I am too. I genuinely love Summer House usually. Yeah, I love Summer House. Okay, before we get into the premiere, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast, which is also Summer House Martha's Vineyard, which will also be coming out, I think, in March. That will be delayed, but we will cover the season at some point. But we cannot do 3 shows at once. We might die.
I know. Between that and like stuff, more shows coming out with Vanderpump, I'm like, no, we're focusing on the main ones. We'll get to the rest later.
We'll get to the rest. It also does Winter House, which Winter House has not been renewed for season 4. I don't know. So we get a break on that one, but we have all past seasons done and covered. We also have It's About the Pasta, Vanderpump Rules podcast, and One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We actually have 2 reviews to go over. Who's excited? I don't know if they maybe were more Winter Housey, but either way, they're on this podcast, so we're going to read them. The first one is from XXSammyXX978, and it's titled "Love You Girlies," and it's 5 stars, obviously, because that's the content we put out is only 5-star content. So Sammy says "love" with a bunch of exclamation points. So there's really nothing else.
Simple, sweet, to the point. I mean, she loves the podcast. How could you not?
The second one is from 00Kate1, also 5 stars, titled Pro Lindsay. And it says, the hosts are pretty pro Lindsay, which I typically don't agree with. LOL, but I love the podcast. That is at me. Thank you so much, Kate.
I was going to say, Lindsay. I remember seeing that come through and I was like, do I come off pro Lindsay? Really? I'm kind of shocked.
It's me. I overpower everything. I am pro Lindsay. I will probably be defending her this season, so be ready for it. I gotta really think about my arguments.
I really don't think I am, because the way that Carl thing went down, like that, the start of this episode, and we obviously saw it a little bit in the promo too. I don't think I'm going to be pro Lindsay, my typical stance, but also Carl is out in the streets, like in interviews saying like he did not call cameras, like production. So like, I'm even more curious about what the start of that conversation was like. So I can't wait to get to the end of the season, but I'm just going to ride the summer and enjoy the parties, because like I love the premise of the show.
I am too. I'm going to enjoy the show. However, Lindsay writers are ready to defend, you know?
I think they're ready to edit this season against Lindsay. That's my hot take for the entire season.
No. Why do we always attack the women? You know?
It's an easy trope to do. It's the standard playbook.
It's the same thing they're doing at Vanderpump. Ugh, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We're going to ride the summer. I'm going to ride for Lindsay, but thank you so much for realizing who I love. I appreciate you listening to me. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta, and join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever the hell we want. Also, you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. So they'll usually be dropped on the Patreon before they're released to the public. So if you can't wait, this is the place for you. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and watch old seasons of shows for Summer House and Vanderpump, we will do an after show to not give away any like Bravo spoilers or news on the actual podcast. We'll do it on the after show. But since this is live, we'll talk about any live news we see via like from Bravo, mainly Summer House, on this podcast. Also, we'll say your name on the podcast. Oh no, I forgot about that part. So I obviously didn't pull it up, but let me pull it up really quick.
That's okay. While you're pulling that up, speaking of news, Lindsay's Hub House in Nashville is like officially launched. So that was cool to see the girlies go down to Nashville. stay at the
We
house. I
love.
also saw on Entertainment Tonight, like kind of like a mini tour. So I posted that to our Instagram like last week.
Oh my
But that was like so fun
God.
to see. So if you're in Nashville for a bachelorette and go, let us know.
Get Hub House. Let us know if you get it. Okay, I have all the names. So thank you to Allison, Chris, Courtney, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Jennifer, Kirsten, Casey, Kelsey, Chrissy, Lauren, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Leanne, Rio, Robin, Taylor, and Tara. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for being a part of our Patreon. For $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when there's live shows, which is now, there's 2 live shows a week. So there's plenty of posts to whatever. You know what I'm saying. It's going to happen a lot. I will post in the Patreon and you will give us your thoughts, questions, opinions, concerns, and we will read them on the podcast at the end of the show. And also, I'll pick a patron of the episode because it's my decision and my decision only. So this week's patron of the episode is Lauren. I think we only have one Lauren. Let me double check. Yeah, Lauren. Because Lauren was ready to give us thoughts on the episode. I kind of read her post ahead of time, and I don't think there will be any big words that I can't read. So thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. And I think Lauren has some IG updates for us, which is going to be great. So thank you so much for doing some digging for us, Lauren, because we are sometimes lazy.
Ooh.
All right, great. Should we get into the episode?
Let's do it.
Okay, so the episode starts with the end of the summer 2023. We get what we got in the trailer, which is basically the Lindsay and Carl breakup. He ends the engagement, it seems like, and then she goes in their room and Carl talks to producers. He tells producers he thought she would react differently. She shares with her, or Lindsay shares with her dad, who she calls, that she is blindsided. And then Carl says that Lindsay's lying about what happened in the last year.
Wow, that's a big claim.
That's a really big claim, and we don't know what happened. So instead, let's go back 2 months earlier and go to New York City.
Which, wait, really quick, 2 months for this to like unravel is like kind of crazy. I don't know why, but I thought like 3-4 months before that conversation happened, but just like 60 days is I'm like shook still to the core that this happened.
Then it makes me think that Carl was already second guessing it, but like you gotta end it then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they end it only like 2-ish months before the wedding?
Yes. Yeah, it was after like typical filming happened. Yeah, it was in September, like I think the week before Labor Day, but they didn't do Labor Day this year at the house. And then the wedding was supposed to be in November. So like end of August to November.
All I know is it was too late to get your money back on those hotels, so everyone had to fucking go to Mexico by themselves.
And Sheena over from Vanderpump Rules got in trouble for like hanging with Carl's parents.
We all had to go. Like, what the fuck? We all had to go to Mexico.
Oh,
we had to hang out, you know?
So funny.
Anyway, so we're in New York City. It's Friday, 1:34 p.m. Danielle is picking up Paige and Sierra. She, of course, turns the wrong way down a one-way street, which is hilarious. Good for you, Danielle. So Danielle shares with the girls that she was in Montauk last week. And it was Hookup Central. And guess who was there? Her ex-boyfriend Robert with his new girlfriend.
Oh,
and this is the girl. This is the girl my friend.
You saw?
I was with her. I just didn't see Robert, but she saw Robert with this girl in Soho in like September, maybe.
Oh my God. Was that before they broke up?
No. When did they break up? Sorry. It was still warmish out.
Okay. Maybe they just broken up or something, but it wasn't announced for a while.
It was like a week or so after they had like broken up.
Okay. Sorry, keep going.
So it wasn't long. No, that's okay. But Danielle is wondering if there was some overlap. And she always suspected that something was happening with Robert and this girl, but he then would gaslight her about it and be like, no, what are you talking about? But now Robert lives with this new girl. So we've really jumped fast, Robert. I don't know.
I'm not going to speculate on if they like slept together because like there's no proof of that, but there's no way they didn't like start like an emotional connection, you know, like you start falling for someone
Yeah,
else and then, which like it happens.
that's
Like
what I think.
if they slept together, then I'm like ready
It
to write at
happens. It
dawn.
sucks.
Yeah.
It happens. It sucks. It's still not right to like not, I don't know, be honest about it. The thing is, if Danielle had no idea, then fine. But if Danielle was like, "Are you like interested in this girl?"
Mm,
And Robert was like, "No,
yeah.
what are you talking about? You're crazy." But then ends up with her, that is wild to
Ooh.
me, but whatever.
Yep.
So they then pick up Gabby. So the four girls, which I love, by the way, I love that Danielle is kind of in with the Paige, Sierra, Gabby of it
Me
all.
too.
I love this for Danielle.
I think she has good influence on him too. Like they'll be like the bed girls will be a little bit more fun and like Danielle can have that like single girl, even though like Paige acts like a single girl without like hooking up with people, like in the way she like chit chats with people. Because her boyfriend's not in the house, but it's like fun to have that girl chat with Danielle, but then like hopefully Danielle like pulls them out a little bit more.
Yeah. So there's a new guy that's gonna drive up with Kyle. Sierra was the one that found this out because she and Kyle spoke on the phone. But she got zero information about this man. She was just like,
Which
cool, a new
all girls
guy.
know this. It's like, wait a minute, why didn't you ask questions? Like, come on, we need all the details
Yeah.
constantly.
Immediately, I need to know his family history, his social security number. Like, why aren't you getting
Yeah.
this for me?
Yeah, does his family have any like diseases? Like what's his like health history? Like that down to
Genetic
that level.
issues.
Yes.
So then we get to Kyle. He's with Amanda and he's picking up this new guy who we find out is West, who's a sports journalist. I love that we still get,
I
careers.
jobs. Yeah. I actually knew he was going to be on this because we found out later he's from Missouri and like my friends in New York, some of are like not my friends. People I know from St. Louis that I grew up with know him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they've been like commenting on his
Wait, I'm
Instagrams for like
obsessed.
forever. And when this was announced, they were like, I've been waiting for this announcement. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. I hate when my worlds converge in a way. Like you're like,
Yeah, that's
wait,
wild.
it's like, how do you know this person? I'm not watching him on TV.
That's crazy. I'm podcasting about him. So
Yeah.
West is pumped to go. He has recently hung out with Carl and Lindsay. That's how Kyle met West, actually, is through Lindsay because Lindsay and West met last summer. So then we find out Carl and Lindsay aren't coming this weekend. And Kyle kind of talks about house dynamics and mentions that Lindsay's not everyone's, or Lindsay had mentioned to Wes that she's not everyone's favorite in the house.
Which like, that makes me so sad that like, that's how she's describing this house to somebody else. Like, I feel for her. Like, that breaks my heart.
She's very, very intuitive. She recognizes it. I mean, Lindsay's not always on the ball, but she's on the ball this time.
It's also so severe that it's very blatantly obvious to her.
That's true. That's true. So we cut to
that's
Lindsay
how
and
bad
Carl's.
it is.
It is. It's pretty bad. We cut to Lindsay and Carl's apartment. We get Babe. Babe.
Oh God.
Babe.
Babes.
I hate
they add
it.
an S to it this year. Babes.
Babe. Okay, so they are actually going to the White House on 4th of July. Lindsay's like, isn't that crazy? It's just like Ariana, as in Ariana Maddox from Vanderpump Rules, because she was invited to the White House after her whole scandal broke. But Carl's like, we're Z-list compared to Ariana, which Lindsay is not happy to hear about.
No, her face was just like,
Drops.
excuse me. Which it is different. Like you're just invited to the White House lawn for like 4th of July. She was invited to it was like that press whatever thing. I forget what it's called. But she was like in at a dinner.
Yeah, she like sat down near the president at his dinner. But whatever. So Carl and Lindsay have been living together for a year. They're planning a wedding. Really quick, Lindsay's interview look, hot. She looks great. She looks amazing. Holy shit. Anyway, so back to the wedding. Their colors are going to be burnt orange, peach, and creams.
I can't. I cannot.
Lindsay!
Oh
Lindsay,
my
you're better
God.
than burnt orange. Maybe I just
Because,
don't know. I can't
well,
picture it.
I can't picture it at all, but also they were doing it in Mexico. So, like, the fall vibes don't match for me. You're not doing this in like Vermont where there's going to be like, all these like beautiful foliage of like leaves turning.
Yeah, let me just quick Google this. Oh, it's not like terrible colors, I guess. When you say peach and creams,
I
oh,
hate
it's not
peach.
bad.
I hate peach no matter what.
It doesn't look like the most terrible.
As horrible as you're envisioning.
I pictured something really bad.
It's just kind of terrible, not the most terrible.
No, no, no. I don't think
I'm
it's
just saying I'm not doing it for my wedding is what I can guarantee you.
never. Okay, this isn't the worst. It's not as bad. I should have probably Googled that before. Anyway, so Lindsay does share that Carl is not helpful with wedding planning. And I was like, wait, but duh. But duh, where does Carl give you the idea he would be helpful with anything?
I mean, Carl's personality doesn't seem like he'd be that into it, but to me, it's more Lindsay's personality. Like, she is so type A. She is so
Yes.
aggressive, like, in a good way, aggressive, like, about probably on top of it, planning, like, being in PR. She probably, like, does a lot of, like, event stuff anyway. So I just wouldn't think that she would kind of also give him the space to be a part of it.
That's what I thought too. I was like, first, Carl is one to take a back seat when it comes to planning. Second, you are not, Lindsay. So like
Yeah,
where
you're
does
not
this come in? But
making this collaborative in any way.
whatever. So we found out Lindsay's best friend, Dania. I don't know how I spelled this and I don't know how it's pronounced. And I don't care because this woman will never be back on our screens.
Well, I think this is the
She does
girl
PR
last
in
year.
DC and
Last year, this is the girl that Danielle was
told
like
Danielle to shut the fuck
ranting
up.
to.
Yeah. So whatever. Dania in PR in DC got them an invite to the White House. So they're missing the 4th of July in the Hamptons. Lindsay does say that probably Gabby will miss them. And then last summer was Carl's worst summer with all the Danielle drama and the Kyle drama. And this could be Carl's last summer in the Hamptons. So he wants to let loose.
The way he's saying could be already, I'm like, you knew this was going to end, which I don't know when he did this interview, but like, I feel like he's really trying to set the stage that he had doubts from the beginning in these interviews.
I think interviews were done by the time he ended the thing.
I don't think all of them
engagement.
were. That's a lot of interviews.
Once you start at the beginning, listen, I don't know how reality TV, but once you start at like the beginning of the summer and work your way down the interviews, like let's start at the beginning, Meredith. Okay, so you enter the house and you do that, right?
I think you live the whole summer. I think they shoot the whole thing and then they do interviews in the fall because like they don't know what the story they're going to tell yet, so they don't really know how to interview you until the whole summer happens.
But you would start with the beginning of the summer, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I think so. And they might clip some from the beginning.
First interviews.
I agree.
And
yeah.
Lindsay
okay,
was surprised when she said she got a text about cameras because I think I'll listen to Nick Viall's podcast maybe again or like look into it. But I think she said she was like, we were done.
Yeah.
We were like done with everything. So who knows? I also don't know what day he ended it. So it could be October for all I know.
Oh, you don't have the date in your memory like the Ariana Scandival moment?
No, it was not March 4th. March 1st? What was it? I don't even know.
3rd, I think. March 3rd. I think March 3rd is when we found out. March 1st is when I think it went down.
See, who cares? Okay, so we cut back to Kyle in the car. He shares with Wes the drama that happened last summer. Amanda says it's probably a good thing that Lindsay and Carl are in DC this weekend. No one says anything otherwise, but then Kyle mentions that his new friend Jesse not his new friend, his friend who's going to be a new guy in the house. Jesse is in Chicago, but he'll be coming to the house later. To which I was like, oh, interesting that he's in Chicago for his friend's wedding, because the only people that have weddings in Chicago are probably live in Chicago or from Chicago. So I immediately was like, what's his vibe? Anyway.
I was so excited to meet him. 2 new guys. We needed this.
2 new guys, both Midwestern, which I love. I love Midwestern
Alicia was
vibes.
popping off in our group text about Midwestern boys.
Me? Are we going to get more fires or what? You know? So we go to the girls' car. We got 3 single girls. We got Danielle, Sierra, and Gabby. And Danielle wants to turn Sierra into a hoe. And Sierra's like, that's usually not my vibe. But Sierra's in her opposite era. So she's going to be a hoe.
Let's do it.
Danielle wants to be in her bad bitch era to prioritize herself and her libido. So rock out. So we get to the Hamptons. It's Friday, 6:31 p.m. The girls are first, and the house is completely redecorated. So they go through, and they realize that there are plenty of bedrooms because I guess the house got rezoned. So
thank God.
We don't have to share as much anymore.
I would hate that being like 8 seasons into a show and having to like share bedrooms.
Agreed, but we've done our time at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So, 6:52, Kyle, West, and Amanda show up. We do hellos and intros. We learn West's name is West Conrad Wilson. It's kind of hot. West Wilson. I was in on it.
I like it. I like the double W's.
I do too. We have our lover boy moment. The girls talk about their eras. Amanda's in her no patience era, specifically for Kyle.
Oh God, I was not.
She's excited to be here.
Yeah, just not spend time with Kyle. I can't believe they're fighting again. I really thought we turned a completely new corner, and like they were just gonna always be like they have their moments. Obviously, like they're in a relationship, but I did not think we were gonna have the early days of Amanda and Kyle ever back again, and here we are. This feels like it's like season 3 in the water fight.
I agree. It's not looking good.
No.
But all we can do is just deal with it, I guess. Hope that it's edited out.
Oh God.
So Amanda is only here. Because we always say, why does Amanda come back to the show? She clearly this isn't her thing. She literally only comes to spend time with people other than Kyle. So she reminds us that over the winter she took a pregnancy test. This was on Winter House. Ever since, she hasn't really been in a good place. Her and Kyle are really starting to think about like what's next, a house, a family, but they're really not ready for kids. So,
which like is shocking compared to like the last few seasons and like with Winter House, like they really talked about it a lot
she wanted kids.
I think he did too, but like they were like that's the next step, but clearly like they need to shore up their foundational relationship before bringing kids into this.
Agreed. So, Kyle tells the house about Jesse, who will be here tomorrow, and says that he's tall. And immediately the girls were like, we're in. But West is like, listen, I'm not short, but I'm definitely not tall. I guess I just need to work on with my personality, which I was like, dude, you seem to have a lot of like charm and charisma. I'm here for it.
Yeah. But that's so funny to hear from like the horse's mouth of a guy being like, shit, there's a tall guy. All right. I gotta like, that's going to distract from, I got to bring my A game when it comes to personality. Cause that's so true. Like we immediately as girls get like blindsided by the tall guy.
But I love, but he says he did have a girl one time tell him he read as tall. And I actually get told this. I get told I have tall girl energy and I'm 5'2". So I feel West on this. Anyway, so the girls are hanging out in the kitchen and Paige, for some reason, says she always tells Craig he looks like he came off the Mayflower.
Oh my God, the way she roasts this man on TV is incredible.
You look like a pilgrim. That's never been a diss before. I love it.
I know.
So then we also learn, God, do I hate Craig sometimes. Listen, I don't hate Craig. That I used to. He's grown on me a lot. But there are still really moments where I want to punch. There are moments I still want to discard Craig for everything he's worth. I guess in Italy, he Googled what rigatoni was. And everyone's like, that's not even a niche noodle. And I was like, I know. Craig's the worst.
I immediately, as soon as she said rigatoni without even like Googling it, a picture literally popped in my brain. I know exactly what noodle it is.
Yeah, it's not a hard noodle. It's a very common noodle.
No, that's like
my dad's Googling favorite noodle. Literally this man. See, Craig's a walking red flag sometimes.
Oh, God.
So Paige explains to the audience that Craig is her long distance boyfriend that she's been taking care of because he's a child. But even though they're long distance,
Taking care of is a perfect
yeah, we take
descriptor.
care of Greg. Even though they're long distance, they're in a really good rhythm. After this season on Southern Charm, or not after, during the season of Southern Charm, Paige assured Craig that she's not going anywhere so he can chill, because Craig has always been very like, Paige, when are you moving next door to me so we can like be together forever? And Paige is like, I'm
Yeah.
staying in New York. Sorry, never.
Paige is like, simmer down. We have time.
She finally told him, like, calm down. I'm not going to break up with you. I love you, but I'm not ready to give up my life. And she says it
Mhm.
perfectly. She says she loves Craig so much, but she still loves herself so much. So she's going to do what she wants to do,
I love how she
which I think
described
is bad
that.
bitch energy.
Yeah, I need to take that energy more into dating. Well, like, I think sometimes I just get like wrapped up in whatever present moment I'm really in instead of just being like, what do I want? Like, focusing on me more.
Also, never give up what you want for a guy, especially if that guy's Craig, you know?
Especially if that guy is Greg. True.
If he's anyone on Southern Charm, don't give up your wants for him. They're all trash. Not Craig's the
Never.
best out of all of them, but Craig's friends with
Yeah.
trash, which makes him smell,
I
you
mean,
know?
I was about to say,
Anyway,
yeah, it bleeds into him.
yeah, so we learn a little bit about West. He moved to New York in 2018. He's a Missouri boy. His dad's a cattle rancher.
I mean,
Wow. This man. I'm in love.
I I'm excited.
Sierra immediately asks if Wes's dad is married, and Wes is like, yeah, to my mom. But Sierra's
I think
about a
that's
cattle
so
rancher.
funny. I
She's
think it's
in for
so
the cattle
funny.
rancher.
He's like so into it. I did not peg that.
But we do get a picture of his dad later riding like the bull, I presume.
No, no, no. He's riding a
The cow.
horse and he's like has a lasso.
Listen, I'm not cattle
Riding a
rancher.
bull. No, he's riding a horse.
Whatever he's doing, he looked hot. I was in on
This
it.
is
I paused.
this is Summer House's version of the plates incident over on Vanderpump.
He's writing something. Who cares? Anyway, and then we learn Wes's mom is an OBGYN. So
I love this
there's
family. I want this family to come on the show how we used to get like the parents roll in. Like I'm like, give me more of them.
I agree. It sounds like a very interesting family. And Wes immediately becomes a 10 out of 10 because he is informed about the female anatomy, which not a lot of straight men are.
Incredible.
He knows the different tear levels for
I
vaginal
don't even know that.
births.
I don't
I
want
don't
to
even
know
know that.
that.
That's amazing. That's
I don't want to know
amazing.
it, but I love that he's educated.
I love that he's educated. Okay, so they talk rooms, and the roommates surprisingly all decide pretty easily on where everything should go,
Mhm.
which I love. Although I do love a fight about rooms, so I'm like, but we're like close to 40 at this point, so we're fine.
I'm shocked that Paige got the master or the
The
primary
master.
so like easily because she's like
Well, she didn't
single.
say anything. But Amanda and Kyle took a different room, and Paige was
Mhm.
like, well,
If
I'm
it's
not going to
open,
not take it.
yeah. Yeah. It just I'm so used to like two girls needing to share, the primary. Like it's fun whenever there's like multiple people in there and it becomes like the getting ready room. So it better be the getting ready room is all I'm saying.
Well, Paige also said she's never had a room to herself before. So this is a very exciting time for Paige.
That's wild.
Yeah, she's always had to share. So, it's 8:13 p.m. Wes is gonna make quesadillas for dinner, and automatically I was like, fuck. I immediately judged this white man from Missouri making quesadillas.
We're so used to Amanda cooking that first meal and it being like, like pasta, but like something like that seems really good. And I'm like, we're making quesadillas. But I was like, you know what? He's cooking. Like, don't judge him that hard. Like, no man has
I
ever
did.
like shown up and been like, I will make the first dinner.
Well, I thought this man was gonna take a tortilla, put some like Kraft singles on it, and then serve it after it melts in the microwave. Like I had low expectations. So, they check out this bar that they now have in it's like the party side living room kind of thing. But they
Yeah.
put speakers in there, and now they have Club Send to party in all summer. And then we see Sierra helping West with dinner. So West is cooking, Sierra's hanging out talking. They were talking about like old shitty jobs they had as teenagers. Sierra
Mm-hmm.
talks about missing Georgia, but she can't move back there. And West asks if Sierra is a single girl or a dater, and she says a dater, and she wants to find someone, but she's not rushing it. And then we cut to Paige and Amanda, and they're like, "We have never seen Sierra cook, and now she's cooking with this man."
Never. This is how you know a girl likes you, like this type of energy where it's like you're doing something off on your own and like she kind of like, not in a bad way, like won't leave you alone, like is really engaging with you in a conversation, like one-on-one, like just with you. Like this is how you know a girl is interested.
Yeah. And honestly, Wes is doing a great job with this conversation. He seems really
Mm-hmm.
into it. He's asking her questions. It looks great. So it's 8:24 p.m. We do sound check in Club Send. Of course, it's Danielle and Kyle fucking dancing their little asses off. We cut back to Amanda and Paige talking at the kitchen table. They haven't really talked to Danielle about Lindsay, but Lindsay and Carl aren't coming this weekend, and they're both like, thank God. Um, Amanda knew that Danielle had big reservations coming this summer, because Lindsay and Danielle, though they can be in the same room together and be at events together, they're not friends. They're just kind of coexisting. And Paige is like,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly how I deal with Lindsay. I try and be friendly, and then Lindsay like yells at me or loses it on me, and then I lose it back on her. So
Which I love. I love.
I love that they know they're not friends. They're like, we're fine.
Absolutely.
So then Kyle and Danielle talk. Kyle says he's very proud of Danielle with all the Lindsay stuff and the Robert stuff, and now she can still show up with a smile on her face. Danielle says
Mm-hmm.
she was in a really big funk, which we saw on Winter House, but she thinks she's worked through that funk. Because last year was hard, right? She lost her best friend and her boyfriend. And she had to learn a few hard lessons in that Winter House with Alex.
Ooh,
But
go back and watch and listen if you want to know where Danielle is at and you did not. That was a good but bad season of life.
she deserved to have a bad season. It's just unfortunate it was all caught on camera, you know?
I know. I mean,
Ugh.
we've all been there. So like it's just one of those moments you really feel for her. But like what a rough go of it. I feel
I
like I haven't
know.
stepped back and really thought about like how soul crushing that is. Cause I've had friendship breakups and they're like horrible, miserable. Like I'd rather break up with 10 boyfriends than have a friendship breakup. But then to also deal with a long-term boyfriend breakup, oh man, you just really start back from the bottom and are like rebuilding your life.
We've never, I mean, well, I'll speak for both of us. We've never had a boyfriend we've been so in love with that we've lived with and we've like
Mm-hmm.
saw a total future with as far as like rings and marriage and all that. So
Yeah.
that must be crushing. And then your friendship breakup is crushing. And then you have to go to a winter house and get it all filmed. And
I
all
mean,
of
Alicia,
America just goes, oh,
you saw me go through a friendship breakup in like
yeah, it was
2021 and I
hard.
literally cried all the time right before we would record. Like it
Yeah,
was
it was
just the
hard.
most hurtful experience. I like don't think I really assessed how bad Danielle was in because it didn't happen like on camera, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would just times that by two because it's like Robert and Danielle
Mhm.
or and Lindsay,
Yeah.
you know.
Or yeah.
But whatever, she's here to have fun this summer. We're ready for a fun Danielle. I hope I
I'm
don't look
ready.
at Danielle this season and go, "Ooh, I've been there," like the last season.
I need her to stop reminding her of myself. Like please
Yeah,
don't do this to
stopping
me.
me. So, West asks Paige in the kitchen when she's gonna do dishes before or after they go out. And Paige is like, "Oh, let's have you learn something. I haven't done a dish since '08," and that was
I
hilarious.
died.
That
West is
was so
already
good.
like
That was
in,
great.
like he just dove right in with these people and like already has
Top
like a good vibe
caliber.
and like
He's great.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I have hope for this season with this cast already.
So it's now dinner time. Listen, I judged this white man making quesadillas, but he has chicken, he has steak, he has lettuce, he has like the cheese with us. He has everything.
That's it. The meat, the protein,
And it's like laid out buffet style.
he did really well. And so I'm like, all right, good
He did it.
job.
10 out of 10. They look so good.
Well, I'm just gonna say I think tacos are easier to like have as a group meal.
Yeah, for sure. But he put it together. He was like, I'm not just gonna do tacos. I'm doing quesadillas. You know? And I think
Mm-hmm.
he did great. So good on Wes. Sorry for judging
Good
you, buddy.
job.
But
Good
a
job,
white man
Wes.
from Missouri on a cattle ranch, you can see where I questioned, right?
Oh,
I'm
come
not
on.
alone.
The whole premise of this podcast is judge first, ask questions later.
Exactly. So, Kyle, here's so we're cleaning up, right? We're cleaning up the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle can't figure out for some reason how to put tinfoil on a bowl of meat
Oh
to
my
preserve it for
God.
later because he's a 40-year-old white man. What would we expect, you know? This is
Mm-hmm.
why I judge white men before I, I ask questions. This is it.
Rightfully
So
so.
Kyle's like, can we just leave the meat out? And Amanda's like, are you kidding? I left out foil for you to wrap it in.
Just do it. It's not hard.
Yeah, Danielle's basically like, ugh, just get out of here. I'll wrap it. But Amanda's like, no, Kyle, you're not gonna get let off the hook. But she like yells
Mm-hmm.
at him. And Gabby and Danielle are shook. They don't know what to do. And Kyle tells Amanda her sassiness needs to be contained. And Amanda tells him
Oh.
he's the sassy one. Listen, Kyle, you fucking waste of space. Wrap up that meat.
And put it in the fridge.
Don't you? Can we leave it out? No. What a stupid question. What a stupid
It's not
question.
hard. If this was like something like way more complex and they were like, listen, you're going to hinder being in the kitchen, like helping with stuff, fine. Like I get like dismissing someone who is like making a mess or like making it worse.
Fine, whatever.
But it is not hard to put foil on a bowl. And I am so in for Amanda, like yelling at him for this. This is the conversation about weaponizing incompetence is huge right now. And this is a perfect example of it.
This is that. Because instead of just being like, oh, where's the tinfoil or how do I do it or even wanting to learn, he's just like, can we just leave the meat out? Which he knows is a no. He's how many years old?
There's nothing to learn. Like we are all adults. If you were alone, you would figure this out.
It's just like annoying. So then, yeah. So that sucks. So I feel bad for Amanda dealing with that. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle then shares with us that he feels like him and Amanda are struggling to be on the same team. They don't see eye to eye on work-life balance. And I was like, well, duh, because you're a CEO and she's an employee. Let me tell you, I don't care as much as my CEO at my company because I'm an
I think
employee.
even just like a step further back from that, like Kyle is a serial entrepreneur, you know, like wants to give everything to make successful companies, you know, and it's just a different mindset. And so it's like, what are you prioritizing? Amanda probably wants to prioritize family and like connection and being at home and building a life together. And Kyle wants to build a company for their
Successful
family's like
company.
future success, but like
Yeah.
financial success. But it's different. It's different priorities, and those are misaligned right now.
And I think it's fair. I think both of them have what they want. It's just not
Mm-hmm.
aligning. But I also don't think they need to exactly align, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I think they need to be considerate of each other's wants, but then I think the annoyance then bleeds into other things. Like I don't think this Kyle not helping put away dinner would really annoy Amanda if all the other stuff wasn't happening.
Agreed. So I can't wait to watch them argue about this all season. Great. Okay, so it's 8:57 p.m. Sierra's feeling this new guy West. And Paige is
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, he gets hotter the more you talk to him, which like never happens with a man.
I agree.
Agreed. Totally agree. Like I don't know how Paige is with Craig because every time he opens his mouth, I want to die a little bit. I'm just kidding. He's just so easy to rag on, you know? He's just so easy. I'm sorry. So Sierra was impressed that West asked her questions about herself because, and I can attest, in New York, my God, the amount of times I have to listen to men rant about absolutely fucking nothing just about themselves and not ask me a single question. The record a guy went one time was 46 minutes of not asking me
Oh
a
my
question.
God.
I timed it. I got bored, so I just was like,
Did
let's see.
you, Alicia, did you talk about yourself? Did you just like, instead of
I
being asked a
tried.
question, you just like, okay.
I would try to insert, like if I was like, oh, I work
Yeah.
at a startup, he'd be like, this is why I can't work at startups. And I was like,
Oh.
okay.
Because sometimes my problem is I just overly talk about myself, so then I feel like people don't ask me questions because I just already give it out there. But
I
not
was
saying you're doing that,
trying.
but I didn't know if there was a balance of the conversation naturally without questions needing to be asked, or if it truly is somebody monologuing about their life, which, like you're saying, did happen.
No, but like if I was like, "Oh, I work at a startup," he could have been like, "Oh, what startup? What do you do?"
Yeah.
kind of thing, and then be
Ask
like, "Oh,
follow up
this is what I
questions.
do." No, it was very much like if I was like, and this obviously didn't happen, but if I was like, "Oh, I really love tequila shots," he'd be like, "I actually think tequila shots are really bad for you, and this is why." And I'd be like, "No one fucking asked
He would
you."
like immediately bring it back to either his opinion, his life
Yeah,
experiences.
yeah.
Yeah.
New York dudes super suck, and I'll die on that hill. But
I'm guilty of like making conversation all about myself.
well, you're a New York dude then. But Luke, Midwestern energy, okay? That's you
Hmm.
always ask questions about other people and you always put yourself on the back burner because that's Midwest, always and forever. We love to be walked upon, you know? So they say it's time to go to what I thought they said was carnival, which I thought was a bar or
I
club.
did too. The way because they kept saying carnival, not the
We're
carnival.
going to carnival. Kind of like, okay, I was like, great. And there's a place in Chicago called Carnival.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
you
I
know?
was like, oh, I thought it was gonna be like a dark bar, like with like moody colors, similar to like Carnival.
Yeah, no, they went to a carnival.
Which I actually really loved this. I think this is a great first night activity.
I I loved it a lot, but also there's a part of me that didn't wholly love it. You know, I was like,
I also want to say this. The weekend, the way the year was set up, 2023, 4th of July. 4th of July was like on a Tuesday. So they're there for a lot of days. So like back to
um,
back barring it would be really hard.
oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. I just said like, is this adult summer housing now? Like we just go to carnivals instead of
Well,
bars?
do you remember that one time they were like at like they did like a rodeo party outside? It kind of reminded me of that. It was like fun to be outside and like you could do different things with different pairings. It just kind of mixed it up. We've never done something
Yeah,
like
this was
this.
fun. I also though someone I think it was either Amanda or Paige posted a TikTok of they were doing like Euphoria quotes, you know, because Euphoria had that carnival episode, so they were
Yeah.
like whatever. But they did like a pan of everything around them, and the amount of cameras and like production people. Like if I'm at this carnival in the Hamptons, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh my
Why are these
God,
people here?
honestly.
Anyway, so they're at the carnival. They get beers, they pop some balloons. Amanda wins herself some sort of stuffed prize. Danielle also does because she wins a big balloon.
So many prizes from this group.
West is funny. He makes Sierra hold all of his stuffed animals while he goes gets a beer, and she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's so hilarious.
Oh
So
God.
Kyle wins this big banana, and Amanda's like, "Is that for me?" And Kyle's like, "Technically, it is for you, but I'm very excited about it," which
Oh
was
my
funny.
gosh. This
They
was
they
huge.
they later named the big banana Mon, but
Because
because
he's a
he's
Jamaican
Jamaican,
banana. I thought he
Jamaican
was so
Mon, you know.
funny. It reminds me of when they got the statues, the like Wesley statue, the
Yes,
zebra. It's
and
just
the
like this is going to
dog.
be this better be a whole bit for the summer. Like I need
It
it.
it will be, you know, it will be. But I also have the question: why are they all so good at winning carnival games?
I don't think they are. I think they're just getting all these prizes because there's 8,000 cameras around them.
Oh, that sucks. Um, Kyle starts talking to Amanda about what he wants for them together, and he wants for them to
Mhm.
spend more time together. And Amanda's like, "Well, this is kind of your fault because you spend a lot of time in your office." And she says, "We actually used to have literal arguments over how I wanted to spend more time with you and you didn't want to spend time with me. And now it's flipped because I have fully accepted that you don't want to spend time with me. And I'm happy not hanging out with you at parties." And Kyle's like, "Well, I want that back. I want you to be sad you're not hanging out with me." And
I
Amanda's
hate
like,
this
I did
because it
too,
sounds
because
like Kyle works a lot, has not changed any of his work stuff, but is like, oh, I miss you. Basically, like, I'll say complaining that I don't spend time with you. It's like he misses the attention of her wanting to spend time with him, not really that he wants the time spent because he's not doing anything different. And Amanda's figured out a new life without him spending all this time that she wanted from him. Like she's kind of like filled that void with like friends or like the dogs or like whatever it is. And now he's like realizing like what he's missing out on and wants it to change. And now that he wants it to change, he wants her to change her entire life back to like just sitting there wanting him. I was annoyed.
I don't think he wants anything other than for her to bitch about how they're like she misses
To
him and
want
wants
to
to hang
hang
out
out
with
with
him.
him.
Yeah, because he won't
Yeah.
actually hang out with her. But like she's not gonna do that. We already had to deal with that for at least 2 seasons. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
don't need. We finally like where Amanda is in fucking life. Okay, leave her be. And now she has. You guys do work together. I'm sure Kyle's like, I want to hang out with you in an outside of work environment. But Amanda's like, I already see you so much at work, and you don't usually want to hang out with me when you go send it. So, like, I've already, our work is our time, and I've come to love that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Amanda's like, I'm not going to beg anymore. And Amanda's made friends. I feel like in those early seasons, she didn't have the friendship she does with like Paige and Sierra that she
Yeah.
does now. So she's like, I'm doing my thing. You don't ever want to hang out with me.
Well, it's like everything she wanted to get from Kyle, she has found in like non-romantic relationships, and so she's probably more
Yeah.
settled. And if he's not going to make, I think she would be willing to make a change if he made a change.
I think that's it, yeah, because we have seen season after season, once Kyle gets boozing, Amanda does not exist to him. He
Mm-hmm.
is host first, boyfriend second, all the time.
Yeah.
And so the fuck. Anyway, so it's 9:43 p.m. We see Sierra and West ride rides together, cute, and then we cut back to
Love
Kyle and
this.
Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Amanda's basically like, listen, I miss you, but I'm home taking care of dogs and watching TV. So I'm actually fine.
This is my energy. I need
If that's
this is
not
my
me,
energy.
I'm watching TV. I'm good with that.
I'm good. No thanks.
You know she's watching Housewives and she's like, men suck. I'm fine with this.
Oh,
Anyway,
God.
Kyle says he wants to be more inseparable. And I'm like, this isn't fair, sir. You're not being fair to her. But Amanda's basically like, great, let's try and get our groove back this summer. I don't really know what to tell you. Eep, you know. So
Ooh.
then Sierra and Wes, again, riding rides together. They have so many stuffed animals. They're children between the two of them. It's very cute. They don't call it their children. I do. So it's 10:56 p.m. We get back to the house. Gabby throws up, which was
Oh
she's
my
like, I need to
God.
throw up. I feel
You know
better
what? I just
now.
want to say thank you to the producers for not giving
Not
us that sound because sometimes they do. And I'm like, no, we can just talk about how they threw up. We don't
we
really
didn't need
need
it.
to hear it all.
Amanda shares with Sierra what Kyle said. Kyle and West and Amanda are sending it in the kitchen. Then we cut to Paige's room, and slowly everyone starts getting in Paige's bed. And then Paige is like, wait, you guys, this is the first time the whole house has gotten into my bed. And I love beds. And she is so happy, and this is the peak of her existence. This is it. This is the greatest day of her life.
This was a peak moment for Summer House for me because I think the bit
Same.
about the beds is so funny, and then like
So funny.
everybody getting this is like clear sign of like everybody getting along, like everybody is just hanging out, and it doesn't really matter where, but the fact that it's Paige's bed is a huge moment.
Amazing. We love the bed bugs. We love them.
Mm-hmm. I love them.
So, I don't know why I found this funny, but drunk Kyle called Amanda a dingleberry, which is very funny. I love the word dingleberry for some reason.
Oh God.
And Wes cannot sleep in the room downstairs that he picked because it's so hot. And he tells Sierra this. And I thought he was trying to get into Sierra's bed, but he actually just
Me
moves
too.
to a different room.
Which
He's like, I'm just going to go to a different room.
you should move. I did not realize that. I guess this house is so hot. They never really talk about the temperature.
They never talk. But then he goes into Lindsay and Carl's old room. like the room from
It's
last
funny to
summer.
look at this house and know where things are, or like whose room used to be what, because you just know from the camera angles and how it's like kind of set up.
Yeah. But also that I need blueprints or I can't follow this house, you know?
Yeah, I just know singular rooms, who used to be in what
Singular.
kind of activities. But yeah, give us a freaking blueprint. Stop with the like reunion charts. Give us a blueprint.
I know. So it's now Saturday, 9:26 a.m. The house is starting to rise. West is up early. He's emptying the dishwasher with his shirt off. And then him and
Incredible.
Gabby start cooking breakfast. This man is a fucking prize.
I love him. I
I'm
love him.
obsessed.
He's adding so much to this house already.
Agreed. Kyle and Amanda immediately start fighting because of their attitudes. What a way to wake up. And then Paige gets in Sierra's bed, because of course. They talk about how they had so
Obviously.
much fun at the carnival.
Mhm.
Paige is still pumped about her bed moment. Like last night, that was the best moment of her
Yeah.
life. And they talk about how there's no drama, no passive aggressiveness. It's just a really fun summer so far. And then we cut to DC where Lindsay
Oh
and
my
Carl are.
god.
Lindsay's dressed for America. She's in an ugly
Oh yeah.
outfit with terrible.
Hate
Anyway,
it.
back to the Hamptons. Amanda calls Kyle out about how Kyle doesn't think they hang out enough, but really Kyle isn't present with Amanda. Like last night, all he did was hang out with his big banana. Instead of hanging out with Amanda and riding rides with her, he rode them with Mon the banana.
Uh, I can't believe he rode multiple rides. Like if you were just doing it for the bit and like it gets
Fine.
edited into the TV show, fine. But like the fact that she said he kept riding rides with this banana is
I think it's
insane.
funny that he was like, I want to hang out with you and only you. And then is like, Amanda, get out of my ride. I'm riding it with a big banana.
I mean, but
Go
that's the clear
away.
thing of it's like what he says, his actions and his words aren't aligned, but he's like blaming it on Amanda.
Yeah. He just wants her to miss him,
Yes.
but he's not going to miss her. So, oh, I forgot to mention they have this conversation in the fucking kitchen. So everyone else is subjected to this. And they're like, well, we
That
don't know what to say.
okay, but I kind of would prefer somebody to fight in front of me than in their like room where I can hear them, but we all are pretending that we didn't hear it all.
Yeah, but like, what the fuck? If I'm Gabby, I'm like, I'm just trying to make you fucking eggs. Go
True.
away.
This also
Like,
is the first like full day of the summer. Like, is this going to be the trend of the entire summer? Is just them fighting? Because that's miserable.
and what a way to start the morning. It's not even 10. Give me a fucking break, you know? Now?
True.
Like, you couldn't do
True.
this after lunch or something? Ugh, it's also not our business. Also, they weren't fighting. That's my other thing, is they were in the kitchen, but they weren't fighting. Amanda just was like, hey guys, guess what? And like went into it. My God, if I'm like West or Gabby or even Sierra, those three who were sitting there, I'd be like, what the fuck? Did you
Oh my
have to?
god.
Anyway, so it's 10:49 a.m. Jesse is on his way. They all have friends coming to the 4th of July party. Sierra gets dared to make out with someone today by Danielle. And Sierra's like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do it. But I'm going to dare you to touch a hot person's nipples. And so Danielle turns to West, who's next to her, and he sticks out his nipples and she touches them. So
I'm
done. That was funny.
dead.
So last summer, Gabby unfortunately threw a very bad party, which made me sad. I didn't think it was that lame that we have to continue to shit
That's the
on it, you
thing.
know?
We're losing the context of why it was, I'll call it bad. It was only bad because she like didn't want to set it up, you know, like she didn't plan to have things and like it wasn't an enjoyable party.
She
It
didn't
just
know how
it
it
wasn't
worked,
yes, it wasn't a summer house level party.
which is fair. It was her first summer, but we're still shitting
Yeah.
on it for some reason. Anyway, Gabby's going to make up for this though, because she's gotten a mechanical shark for the party, which is
I mean,
great.
I think that makes
Amazing.
up for it and we can let this
Agreed.
convo die.
We can let it die for sure. Okay, it's time to get ready for the party. Sierra is flirting with West. I love it.
Mhm.
Paige calls Craig, or her chicken, as you might know. Craig, we hear, is buying a racehorse. Oh
I
my God.
can't. I cannot take
This,
this man seriously.
this man's an idiot. Anyway, so Paige is like, that's probably the dumbest thing you've ever told me, and that's saying a lot. And then she tells us that
Yes.
a few weeks ago, he told her he was gonna buy a soccer team in London.
But this is all very Craig. If people don't watch Southern Charm, this is so Craig. He just like loves little hobbies and like
I
is
think
very
that's
passionate
it.
about them.
I saw a lot of tweets that were like, um, oh my God, Paige, let Craig do whatever he wants with his money. Like, you won't even go live with him. You don't have a right. And I was like, listen, Craig, easy to shit on. And I will do it for the rest of my life. I don't even know this man. I know he's easy to shit on. Two,
Yeah.
Paige has the same energy I do. So she's also going to fucking do it till the end of time. And three, Craig is dumb. Okay? Craig's an idiot. So this lines up pretty perfectly with how stupid Craig is.
He also has so many. Like you just if you don't watch if you don't watch Southern
Southern
Charm, you just
Charm.
don't get it.
Craig's a moron, but I
Mhm.
think Paige probably convinced him not to do this. Thank God. Anyway, so Gabby, they're setting up the party, right? Was probably my favorite scene. Gabby gets a call from Lindsay and Carl. And so
Oh
they're
God.
they're FaceTime talking. Lindsay and Carl are gonna come out next weekend, and Gabby's like, guys, like vibes in the house are so good. Everyone's having such a good time. It's so weird that vibes are so high. Like everyone's here and we're all getting along. And Lindsay's like, well, we're missing. And Gabby's like,
Yeah, because Gabby's like,
yeah, no.
nobody, everyone's here. And they're like, we're not. We're missing. She's like, oh, I mean, I didn't. Obviously, we know that.
Obviously, she didn't think through why vibes were high. She just knew they were.
Oh, do you think she knew what she was saying to them? Like,
No. I think
I
she was
was
trying
like,
to say, like, you're going to have a great summer. Everyone's having a
mhm.
great time. I'm telling you, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Not
And they're
realizing
like,
like they realize it's a great time, or like she's kind of saying it's a great time because you're not here. There's no problems. You
I
are
think
the problem. I'm not saying they are the problem 100%, but like it comes off as like
they
you
are.
guys are the problem.
But Gabby, I don't think meant it that way, which was even
No.
funnier. But Lindsay, no, Lindsay was like, we're the problem, Gabby. And she's like, oh, yeah, no,
Oh, so when it actually isn't going well, that's a clear indicator that like everybody can get along if we're not there.
without you. Yeah. So
Everybody has an incredible time if we're not there.
when fights break out next week, we know who's causing them, right? We got it. It was just so funny. Gabby
Oh my
really,
God.
no clue.
You can't script this stuff. Like that's how good reality TV is.
That was so funny. So, Danielle shares with us that last summer fucked her up a little bit, and we get a flashback to all these really bad moments. Um,
Mhm.
I forgot how like bad it was where Danielle would just share like as a friend her opinion with Lindsay, and Lindsay wouldn't allow that. Like I
Not
forgot
only
how
share,
shit
like
on Danielle.
they would sit down
Haha.
and Lindsay would ask like what Danielle's problems were. Danielle would share them and then like Danielle would just get screamed at.
Yeah, I forgot how like bad it was. And that has to
Yeah.
fuck up your psyche with like friendships, right? You're like, I can't be honest with my friends.
Mhm.
It's fucked. Anyway, so Danielle and Lindsay did have a conversation about setting boundaries and not being best friends, but we're gonna start fresh a little bit. So
I
and
like this
Danielle,
path. Like let's be friends.
I
We
do
don't need
too.
to be best friends, but like let's not do what we did last summer. Like let's just
Agree.
kind of be in the same friend group for a little bit.
Yeah. But Danielle really hated Lindsay last summer, so we're gonna see how this
Mhm.
goes. Um, anyway, West and Sierra continue to flirt. I'm always gonna mention it because I'm a big fan.
Me
And
too.
then the house realizes that we have no one to grill because usually Carl does that because he's sober and can operate
Oh.
like a
It
fire.
isn't that sad though? We realize like we miss Carl, but we don't miss Lindsay. Like
Well, we
we see the
barely miss
gap of
Carl. We
Carl.
just thought about Carl because we need him to grill, so none of us have to, you know?
True.
We cut to DC. Carl and Lindsay, they made it to the White House. Hooray. Anyway, go back to the Hamptons. Wes thinks the first night was great. Him and Kyle are talking about it. Kyle's like, hey, I feel like you're gravitating towards Sierra. And Wes is like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I asked her to go up on all these rides and all we did was talk. I'm definitely into her. And Kyle warns Wes that Sierra is usually a little hard to get to open up. But the fact that she's really into like chatting with Wes is like a really good sign. And Wes,
Yeah.
this is a great sign. We've never seen Sierra do this with anyone. Not even Austin.
It's fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very fun. I like Sierra better because I think Austin like really tainted me. Yeah, fuck. So Wes says he's not going to read into it. He's just going to play it cool, but he is nervous about this new tall guy. I love when a confident man has one insecurity, and it's that someone's just a little taller than him. So,
oh God,
the girls are decorating the house. They're all excited for the new tall guy, Sierra specifically, and I was like, no, no, don't do this. So, enter Jesse Solomon. He is, as someone said online, and I can't get it out of my head, is like a Pete Davidson goofy guy, you know? He looks like a little like goofy like that. He is very tall. He's a little goofy, but he comes in with this big ass smile into the house. Everyone's super about it. We do intros, and West immediately is like, oh, fuck, you know? Ugh. He's tall and
I love
hot.
it. I'm excited. Like a big entry. Like people are pumped to see him. Like he's a 2-name person now, Jesse Solomon. Like let's get after it.
I love the 2 names. And Sierra's in. She's immediately like, how tall are you? 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5". And I was like, girly, shut the fuck up.
He's standing right next to her, like, fuck.
He's literally looking up at Jesse Solomon, like, well, it was fun. But she does love a tall man, aka Austin, who is the personality of, let's say, a tree branch. And she also made out with Carl that one time.
True.
So she likes a tall man.
She's easily swayed by a tall man.
Here's the thing, Sierra. You dated the most boring, stupid, loserish, white, tall man in the entire world. How'd that work out? Maybe we should go for a shorter king, you know?
You're giving Austin a lot of credit there for being the most, or like the worst.
Oh, I hate Austin. I hate him. Listen, him and Shep kind of tied for me. Go watch Southern Charm. You'll understand. Anyway, so it's time to get ready. Kyle looks absolutely terrible in his glittery outfit, but to each their own.
I hated that polo.
Hated it. Someone on Instagram said it costs $45 on Amazon if anyone's interested, but good luck.
Way too much.
Sierra puts glitter in West's mustache, which I
loved that.
He's like, it kind of looks dope. Sierra did earlier tell us she has a trashy outfit, which I thought it was a lovely trashy outfit. She has like her America bikini with a cowboy hat and denim shorts that are unbuttoned, which is
it seemed like everybody else was going silver glitter vibes, so she was just saying like, hey, I'm on the cutoffs, you know, classic
I'm country America vibes. Yeah. So Kyle, we find out, met Jesse Solomon in New York City. Jesse is single and is making the most of it, which I'm pumped. I love a single man. Let's see what happens. So
I want him to have some away games. I know they really don't hook up on camera anymore, which I'm fine. I respect that. But like, go hook up with people outside of the house.
I want to watch you come home at 7:30 in the morning.
Me too.
I want it. Well, one girl has a crush on you in the house and has to watch you come through. That's the best.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it could be either. A girl does an away game, a guy is upset. Either way, I love the watch.
I just need something.
Yeah. So, it's party time. I recognize none of these guests. Sometimes I can pick out a New York influencer. I couldn't this time.
True.
Jesse Solomon just turned 30. He grew up in the north suburbs of Chicago. Woo, woo. I'm Northwest, Jesse. We're basically neighbors.
I'm city girly.
So, well, you didn't grow up.
No.
Keep yourself out of the north suburbs, please. That's where we lived our childhood. Jesse, what high school did you go to? That I've been told, on side note, is a very Chicago question. When people are like, oh, I grew up in the north suburbs. But then a Chicago person
Really?
responds, "What high school did you go to?" Because it's true. Someone in New York told me that because they had like lived in Chicago for a few years. And I was like,
Hmm.
wait, I do that all the time. I'll be like, "What high school did you go to?" And then
That's a
like
big
I'll
St. Louis
figure out.
question too.
It's
It
hilarious.
helps ground you on like who they know potentially.
Yeah. Where'd you go to school? I gotta know.
Hmm.
So, the girls start grilling him immediately. We find out he studied vocal jazz performance.
Which
All
not
right.
did not expect that.
I didn't see it coming. He's Jewish, and he said at his bar mitzvah, he found out that he's pretty good at singing. So he
Which
sings us a
he
little. He's
is.
pretty good. Yeah, he's solid. Um, okay, so then Paige and Kyle go do a catch up. Kyle wants Paige's advice. He says that him and Amanda are in a better place now, or a good place, but it could be better because Amanda
Hmm.
keeps saying things that shut Kyle down. Kyle feels like they're not functioning as a team. They always talk about next steps in families and homes, but Kyle is scared. And Amanda's number one beef with Kyle is he works too much, but what she doesn't realize is he's working for their future. And Amanda's not 100% as he is in their future that way.
Ooh, that like says a lot the way he's saying it. Like I understand wanting to build something for your family and like why you're spending so much time on something. It's not for nothing. But it seems like he like puts himself higher than Amanda because he's working towards their future and she's not. And it's like,
She's not, yeah.
what?
Yeah, I didn't love this conversation. Paige though, because Paige and Kyle have become very close friends. Paige gets where Kyle is coming from on certain things, but part of it
Mm-hmm.
is just Amanda's personality, and he doesn't get that. And I think
Oof.
that's true. He doesn't get that she's not a dedicated worker who wants to like succeed in all things business, and like she's just trying to get a
Well, she's not
paycheck.
gonna like commit her whole life to it. She's like, it's a
Yeah,
job. I clock in and I clock out. I'm not like there are set hours for work, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I
exactly.
don't I work to live, not live to work. And
Yes,
Kyle
Kyle's
lives
the
to work.
opposite. Yeah. So, Kyle hasn't told Amanda any of this yet, and he's actually scared to add kids to the mix, which is I would too, but
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some issues. Anyway, so we cut back to the party. The big banana Mon makes an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Sierra, Paige, and Amanda sitting on the lawn bed. This is also my other favorite conversation. So they talk about how they love the house right now, probably because
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay's not here. They also love Jesse, and he reminds them of a young Carl when Carl was allowed to be friends with them. So
Oh, that comment! I was like, damn, what a zinger.
it's coming. It's coming. So they say without knowing, or the question is, without knowing West or Jesse's personalities, who are you fucking? And Sierra says
Mm-hmm.
Jesse, but West gives Sierra Georgia vibes, which we all know she's like kind of in about. And then Paige is like, well, West has more swagger. And then Amanda says Jesse humps like a golden retriever, but West knows where your clit is. Jesse can't
I
find it.
died.
I died laughing. I was like, that is exactly the energy. Because then they
Yes.
also say, Jesse asked, did you come? But Wes knows that you did. That's
I
it. That's it. That was it. That
Oh
was
my
so accurate. That was
god.
so accurate.
Oh my god.
That was so
So
accurate.
funny.
I'm like, I was
So
cracking up.
funny.
That is so it. Also, though, for the record, Meredith, these two boys walk in. You know neither of their personalities. Who are you fucking?
I feel like I agree with the like Jesse up front, but once you get to know West, like West is better to me. Like
Oh,
if I had an
immediately,
entire night at a bar with them, I would go West.
weirdly, immediately off just looks, I was into West more. And then agree, he opened his mouth and I was in even more.
Yeah.
If you
I
tell me your
I
mom is an OBGYN, I'm in.
I immediately do get I think I'm like every other girl. You immediately kind of get swooned a little bit by somebody being tall because then you're like, "Oh, I can wear heels. I don't know. There's just like things that just
Mhm.
immediately can happen in a sense, like yeses just by height." But then Jesse hasn't talked enough also for me to be excited about him
Decide.
in any way, but West is incredible. I'm so excited for him to be on this show.
I am
I
too.
know he's going to deliver and like have good energy with both friendship vibes, and I'm hoping Sierra and him flirt the entire summer.
I'm also kind of into Jesse being the fuckboy of the season. Like, we need a new one, you know? We
Ooh,
need,
him and Danielle in tandem, like going out, tagged, like,
yeah. They
yeah.
come home at the same time from different places. Oh my God. Let's do it. Okay. So then Amanda jokes that Kyle comes before you even start.
Oh, I mean, these are all very accurate.
Eep. So then Paige shares with that her and Kyle had a deep heart to heart. And Paige
Mhm.
shares that Kyle feels comfortable venting about his thoughts in his head to Paige before he brings them to Amanda. And Amanda says most of it is just that Kyle doesn't feel 50-50 on everything. To which I was like, listen, Paige immediately was like, Amanda, I don't really want to tell you, but this is what I will tell you. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no. So then Amanda is like, Kyle's a bunch of bullshit. Like, that conversation last night was bullshit about how he wants to hang out, but instead of riding rides with me, he rides them with the big banana. And Amanda says Kyle is just stressed with work, but he takes it out on her. And so Amanda lets it slide because it's just like a bunch of work shit. But like, that's exhausting. So Paige shares that Kyle is scared to have a house and kids. And Amanda's
Ooh.
like, then he should probably be single. And Sierra's like, hey, you have to accommodate a lot of your lifestyle for Kyle. And Amanda's like, yeah, and he cheated on me and I took him back. So let's talk about that. And I was
Oh,
like,
I was
eep,
like,
eep, call the police.
this conversation, Amanda saying this, like, all of this, I was like, whoa, their relationship is way worse than I thought. Like, I just kind of thought there was like tension and, like little bickering, already, but this is bad. If she brings this up, that means like she is like fed up.
Yes, because Amanda's famously really good at not bringing up this past to like
Yes,
fight
because
with
it's
Kyle.
embarrassing and like,
It's embarrassing, and I think once you move on, you gotta let it go. But
yes.
but man, she's like, I have to change my whole life for his, and he's the one that has cheated on me in the past. Can you believe? And I was like, eep, 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 eep. If I was Paige, I'd be like, I regret bringing this up.
Me too.
Okay, so then we get a look at the season to come, which was basically just the trailer. But just to recap, we send it. Kyle drunk eats. There's nudity. Sierra and West are hanging out. Jesse's hitting on Paige. We don't know if Craig's mad about it or not, but Sierra asks Amanda if she's identity outside of Kyle. Kyle and Amanda fight.
Oh.
Carl and Lindsay get here. Danielle's also here. Lindsay might be pregnant next summer. Well, Carl and Lindsay are unwell. Carl yells at Lindsay for accusing him of doing drugs. Paige
Oh
yells
my
at
God.
Craig. That's going to be my favorite scene. I already know it. um,
No.
Amanda cries. Kyle cries. Lindsay cries. Carl's stepdad would never marry Carl and Lindsay. Gabby
That's gonna be another
cries.
favorite
That's going to be
one.
crazy. Gabby
Mhm.
cries, but she's sad because her makeup looks so good. So that's the
It
that's the
did look good.
trailer. Should
Whew.
we fun not fun?
Let's do it.
There was just a ton of fun. Who was your
Okay,
not
I want
fun?
to make a sweeping call that Carl and Lindsay are not applicable because they're not really at the house.
Damn it, that was my whole not fun, but you're right.
Like, sorry.
Okay,
If I didn't get a pick Sandoval on Vanderpump Rules
you're
episode
right. You're
1,
right.
no
You're
Carl and
right.
Lindsay.
You're right. Okay, so
Yeah.
who's your not fun?
I'm gonna go. I gotta go with Kyle. It's disappointing because I was on his side of like I thought it was really nice that he like had a conversation with Amanda, and I thought that was like a really great thing. But to hear like then the entire rest of the night he rides with a freaking stuffed animal. If you want to spend time with her, you will. Like you will make the time. Like
Yeah.
everybody has 24 hours in the day. It's all about how you prioritize things and like put your energy towards things. And like you chose not to do and quote unquote what you want. I think he's trying to in his mind, and I don't think he's like truly trying to do this on the show, but what he inevitably is doing on the show is making her out to be the bad guy. Like it's her fault they're not connected rather than looking at himself.
Yeah, completely agree. I also will just have to go Kyle for the same reasons
Mhm.
because everyone else was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's your fun?
I have to give it to West. I'm
Yeah,
so
Wes was
excited
great.
about
That was a good
him.
one.
Oh my gosh.
Wes was great. I won't pick Wes because I try to diversify with fun.
Mhm.
But Wes was definitely my top runner.
Yeah.
But I think then I'm gonna go with Paige. Paige had a great episode. She
Ooh.
got her bed moment. She told Craig he looked
Yeah.
like a pilgrim. That was hilarious. And she talked about I think buying a racehorse. And I think she's just so far. Paige might have it coming with Lindsay and Carl coming through. So I loved her this episode. She was great.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we got to read some thoughts we have from patrons.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay, Lauren says, just finish up the episode. I'm surprised by how into the Sierra West chemistry I am. Same, because I famously don't like Sierra very much, but I like this a lot. Lauren says, during the episode, I checked their Insta pages and I feel like they didn't last post or they didn't post the last summer. So that made me feel sad that maybe this incredible chemistry goes nowhere. And now I'm in a confusion spiral of wanting to see them this season, but also being sad. This is why you got to live in
Mm.
bliss, Sarah. Or not Sarah, Lauren, sorry. Okay, Lauren also says, obviously, the interest coming into this was all about Lindsay and Carl. Did not expect the drama with Kyle and Amanda. Some light
Mhm.
interest stalking suggests that they are okay in current times. Yeah, I part of me feels like they're bringing all their issues out to the show because they don't have a ton going on. Does that make
I
sense?
agree, but you could kinda tell, like, they didn't really, like, hang out in Winter House. Like, there
Mm-hmm.
is like, what is happening is it does seem to be true. I don't think it's, like, just a storyline thing, but I agree. I
Agree.
think they are bringing it to the forefront.
Lauren says, I feel like this summer will be showing the normal conflicts that can occur in a healthy relationship, Kyle and Amanda, against the
Mm.
conflicts of warning signs, Carl and Lindsay. The producers couldn't
Ooh.
have written it any better. Agreed. This
That's
is
a really good
fantastic.
dynamic. I didn't really think about that.
I don't know if I would put Kyle and Amanda in healthy, but I think healthiest in the house.
I think more long-standing or, like, the longevity could be better than Lindsay and Carl. I never
True.
felt like it made sense to me. Whereas, like, I could see a world where, like, Kyle and Amanda make it, but I can also still see a world where they don't.
True. Okay. Lauren also says update on Instagram account saying Sierra and West have been dating. Spiral over, and now I am ready to enjoy watching them this season. Oh my god, exciting!
Oh
I
my
know they're not allowed to
god.
post a lot during the summer because they want to
Mhm.
keep it a mystery. Um, so maybe they just aren't posting for Bravo's sake. Ooh,
Oh my
exciting!
gosh.
Casey says, Count Amanda back on their bullshit. Yeah, it feels like we've been here before, Casey. I agree. Tierney says, really enjoyed the season premiere. Wes and Jesse seem to be good additions to the group so far. Wes's personality is great. I actually said, holy shit, when Jesse Sullivan showed up because, like Sierra, I too like a tall man. I love Paige
Yeah.
on Southern Charm, but on Summer House, I continue to want to like her, but she just can't keep Lindsay's name out of her mouth. It's very frustrating to me. Yeah,
Well,
a lot of the
I will
internet
say
agrees.
in interviews, though, she's probably asked very specific questions, but I agree, like, she in the house
In
is
the
already, like,
house.
stirring shit up. It
Yeah.
is very true.
Yeah. Tierney says Danielle trying to spin Winter House just makes me shake my head. She hasn't learned it all. Wait, what? Wait, what? How
Oh.
dare you? That was really hard to watch. Tierney, you've
Oh.
obviously never been Danielle in Winter House, okay?
I can't even
um,
talk about it. I'm already getting my own flashbacks to my own life. I need to step away.
Tierney says Kyle and Amanda arguing again makes me know it's truly summer. I'm really looking forward to the season. And if the first episode is any indication, I'd say last year's bad season, or after last year's bad season, we're back. Agreed. Fun.
True.
I'm giving to West. He cooked, fell into a good rhythm with the group, and told Paige that she was on dishes after dinner, which cracked me up. Yeah, that was hilarious. Not fun. This one was a little difficult for me because everyone had a good first episode. I guess I'll say Kyle, since he said he wanted to spend time with Amanda, then proceed to ride the rides with Mon instead. P.S. I was really impressed that they were winning all of the stuffed animals because I suck at carnival games. That's what I said, Tierney. That's
I'm
exactly what I
telling
said.
you, they just got him no mamatter what, is my
That's
opinion.
exactly what I had said. Okay, Tyranny, or not Tyranny. Thank you, Tyranny. Tonette said, "This is my jam, Summer House. Here we are, or here we motherfucking go." First off, I'm loving Danielle with Paige, Sierra, and Gabby. Lindsay looks like Barbie, smoking hot and fit. Agreed.
Ooh, true.
I couldn't imagine going back 4 or 5 months after the breakup with the wedding ring on to do interviews. How does that work, by the way, Meredith? I know you have a timeline, so let's hear it.
I'll text my cousin after like we record this, who works in reality TV, and ask him like what timing typically looks like. But I don't think all the interviews were done by the time they broke up. That's just a lot to do when they
No,
don't have
but
the story crafted.
I also think they do
They could have started
interviews.
them though.
Yeah, I think they started sometimes too. Some shows will do, I don't know particularly which ones, but sometimes you'll start to do interviews towards like when you're filming
The
the
end
back
of
end of the season,
I
you'll start the
agree.
beginning interviews.
That there was one where Lindsay was like, you could just tell she was happy, like she did not, they had not broken up yet.
I also feel like Lindsay would not wear her wedding ring if they had broken up. She would have
True,
handed that shit
true.
back.
Yeah, I think there are some of these that probably did happen the last few weeks of them
Yeah,
filming, and then I think we will notice when things changed.
agreed. Okay, Tonette says Lindsay and Carl's connection with the butt tap doesn't necessarily seem happy in love either. It gives the awkward cameras were here, so we have to feel.
I it always feels a little
It's
forced. It
always
always
kind of
has to
like
me.
that. I've always
Hmm.
said this gives vibes of like, and I don't know why I was so gun ho for it, but watching it, it gives vibes of two people who made like a marriage pact when they got
Packed.
old enough. They were
Yeah.
like, let's just do a pact.
Hmm.
Like when they first hooked up, that first scene last scene, I could have vomited.
Gross.
Okay,
Gross.
Tonette says if Amanda and Kyle split, will Amanda continue to come to the summer house? Probably not, but I don't think they're gonna split.
Dude, that would end the show, I think.
Yeah, they're not going to split though. Tonette says, "Gotta give it to Amanda's mic drop moment in the morning with Kyle about his drunk revelation and then calling his bullshit for fake realizations."
Woo.
Yeah. Also, Lindsay is no longer in PR. She hasn't been in PR for a hot second, I don't think. Tonette says, "Where's
Right.
Maya? Probably off the show because she had that hot mic moment, and you got to share your whole life with us. Sorry about it." Also, she didn't
Mhm.
fit in well. Last comment from Tonette. "It left me wanting more. Great episode. Fun. Sierra. Not fun. Jesse Solomon. Jesse Solomon. Whatever. I don't agree, but not fair." Okay. Jennifer says, wait, do we have one Jennifer or two Jennifers? We have one Jennifer. Two Jennifers?
Just
Oh
give
no,
a last
Jennifer
initial.
H. Great. Jennifer says, thoughts, comments, concerned. Hold on their mullet. You don't get to comment on other hairs and stash choices. Oh, because Kyle commented on Wes's stash, didn't he? Agreed. Kyle has no right.
It was a good description of it though. It was accurate.
Carl, quote, "This could be my last summer before I get married," unquote. I don't know when they do their interviews after filming. Oh, we talked about this. Even if it is, just say this is my last summer before getting married because that was the plan at the start of the summer. That's
Yeah.
true. The way he said it was
That's
weird.
but I think that one was done before they broke up too, and it's like
I do
clearly
too.
he did not feel like they were going to make it to the altar.
I think how many episodes? I think 16 this season. I think at least the first 5 have the interviews have probably been done before the breakup. At
I don't
least.
think it'll be a clear cut by episode thing.
I don't think so
Cuz
either, but I think usually I think you would get 5 done before. that point,
I
right?
think
Because
there's
you also
typically
have
like,
to edit the interviews, look through all the footage, put it in,
yes.
get it
They take, so what
approved, and
happens
then
is
send.
they record every day and the people, or like film every day. And then the people like who are filming take notes. And then there's somebody back like in an office reading through and combing through all the notes. Like they said, when the Vanderpump Scandal went down, the editors kind of
Mm-hmm.
felt like something was up because like this was constantly brought up in notes. And so somebody is like combing through the notes and like they're slowly starting to try and put together a story. And then they go through the editing booth. So like as they're putting together the story, that's when they're probably starting to do the interviews as they can kind of
Yeah.
see the overarching themes and know what
Start
questions to
to
ask.
ask. Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes halfway through, I feel like some seasons the story will change because you kind of are going one way, but then it might change a little. So the editors are like, or the producers are like, we got to go this way instead.
With questions, yeah.
So, like, yeah, I feel like a lot of the beginning episodes probably were the interviews were filmed probably before.
Yeah.
I got to figure out exactly when they broke up. Not that I care that much.
I'll
Okay.
report back next week when we record.
So, Lindsay and Carl's hug swap moment. Ick. Did I miss this? I must have been taking notes. I didn't care. Danielle with her priorities. Vodka. Love. Craig Googled rigatoni. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know why we're surprised, Jennifer. Amanda doesn't want Kyle's clothes to touch her. Are they in that bad of a place? Yikes. Yeah, I don't think it's good. Love Amanda and Paige calling out that Sierra never cooks, and suddenly Miss Sous Chef for West. I loved it. West, quote, Paige, what time do you think you'll do dishes before we go up? Dishes before or after we go out? Kyle, did whack-a-mole? I missed that too. Sorry,
I missed
Jennifer.
that
I wasn't
too.
paying attention. Um, I did love the whole house in the bed moment. Agreed. What is up with the hall floors? Am I the only one who clocked them? Yes. What is wrong with the hall floors? Please be
I
more
didn't notice that.
descriptive.
I didn't
Um,
notice. I'll have to look next episode.
oh my God, I looked away for a second and caught a glimpse of Sierra with her head wrap in bed, and I for real thought, is she bald? Oh my God. No, it's what people with textured hair have to do. AKA I also wear a head wrap
Honestly,
to bed.
everybody, yeah, really should because apparently you're supposed to protect your face from your natural hair oils.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Kyle's date night with mom or Mon. I could watch the whole episode. No, because it fucks over Amanda, you know? But whatever, what do I know? Okay, Jennifer Fun West. He came in with his fun pants and he was great. He cooked the first night and even got Sierra to help and seemed to really have a great time, excited to see more of him. Not fun. Kyle, essentially teaching Amanda, I think you mean telling Amanda that he wants to be together but have separate lives. Oh, he did teach Amanda that. No, you're right. I'm an idiot. So Kyle essentially teaching Amanda that he wants to be together but have
Oh,
separate lives and then
yeah.
complaining about it, to then have the opportunity to spend time with her to proceed and then proceed to have a date with his stuffed banana. Second place option goes to Paige for the many times she's already going in on her dislike for Lindsay. Lindsay truly lives rent free in her head. A lot of people hate Paige, but okay. I agree. Keep Lindsay's name out your mouth. Anyway, Jennifer says, by the way, I upped my membership from the Sheena level in order to comment on this episode. Oh my God, Jennifer, thank you so much. Sheena is our mid tier, in case you didn't know, because Sheena is a 2, 2 out of 5. But she's awesome. Okay, last comments from Chrissy. Quote, I haven't done a dish since '08. Quote of the episode from Paige. And
So
then
funny.
Wes is hilarious with making Sierra hold all the prize stuffies. Made him my fun of the episode. Agreed. Wes was great. Okay, thank you so much for all your thoughts. We talked about a lot of them in the
Um,
episode because there really wasn't much to go off of or much
I do
drama.
have an update. I was just texting my cousin about this because I
Okay.
realized it's not like it's 5 in the morning and he's not awake. But he said you do them after, and it depends on the show for when they start doing the the interviews. He said it could be once a week, but usually it's at the end of the shooting and you just recap it all. That way you can bang out all the interviews out at once. I do know Summer House, they do come in multiple times because like we see them do that on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to him like what the situation was, and he was like, she probably was doing these after the breakup. And they
Oh,
just kind of probably tell you to refrain from like commenting or like they try to get you to do your interview based on what was happening at the time.
I don't know. She looked
So I bet they
happy in
asked
that
her.
first interview.
I know. I bet they
Plus,
asked her
their photo
to.
shoot was before. The photo shoot
Yeah.
was before,
That's the one thing.
too.
I wonder if they got one interview in before the breakup and it's just the timing is super weird on this. Like, I bet they did pickups of like picking back up the cameras because of the wedding, like to get some content as it got quote unquote closer to the wedding. So it could be a little bit of overlap because this is just a different situation.
Okay, yeah, they did
But
call it quits in September. So, yeah, that would
yeah,
be.
let's look out for the ring, everybody, because I feel like that'll be a clear indicator, if
Yeah, Lindsay
anything.
probably wouldn't wear that ring. Okay, great, we did it. Yay. Jesse Solomon, West Wilson, welcome to the house. We're excited to see all of it
Mm-hmm.
happen. 10 out of 10. I love Summer House. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for listening. Join us next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.